Okay, so we are at chart 210. Let's just move me out of the way. Fretnut cable, long pattern, diatonic, modal focus. We did a little modal focus. Remember about them, and I'm working on these. So when I fix these labels here, and this is the color pattern up here, I'm working with this color pattern to make these labels make a little more sense. And over here it talks about that the color of the short patterns is the color of the first note of the bottom string of that pattern. Now with the E pattern, it's the color of the root. And this is the color of those notes. Here's my color scheme. This is what's on my guitar, or should be on it. This is before I changed it and I improved it, I don't have the purple D on it, I just have a white D. But that's the color patterns, and modal shapes are the color of the notes shown here that are on the color of the notes on the guitar fretboard. So in the new nomenclature, it's going to be C, D, E. Okay, so this is the Dorian, this is the Phrygian, this is the Lydian, this is the Mixolydian, the Aeolian, and this is the half diminished Locrian. So modal focus is going to involve looking at the long pattern, say in this case D, and seeing that with this D we have two short patterns. We have the D pattern here, and we have the C pattern here, and they're both pretty much encompassed by the D long, okay, and the C short. But that's not shown in this diagram. It's shown in that other diagram that's all over the place, and we'd have to scroll down and along a fret that's this long, this high, not long. The length of a fret is the same to get to that C box there. So all the modals are here with the C here, and all the modals are here with the A here, okay? Now sure, you can take an S3XL and you can make chords out of it. Let's just look at the pattern stack right here. This is why I put these pattern stacks in, so we don't have, we can always go to this and find out what's happening. It doesn't matter if there's repeat notes. We can use this as a general pattern stack. This is the way the guitar is set up. No matter how many of these things you how high you go or how wide you go with it, they all follow the same patterns. It's a major scale. So if we look at 5, 6, 7, root 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 here, yeah, there's chords there. There's 5, 2. How about 7? Well, let's go to the left. 7, 2, 5. So here's 7, 2, and 5. It's a first inversion fifth. In the key of C, it'd be a first inversion G right there. So you can see the long patterns can also, bring us these chord shapes and stuff like that. All right, so any of these chord shapes we can make here, we can also find them on the fretboard. So let's look at a long pattern that started with the R there. I guess R was on the bottom there, if I'm not mistaken. So we had, what did we have? 7, 2, 5 there. That's kind of crossing over into the next box there. Okay. That kind of thing could happen. Let's see. All right, so once again we have a case of a cage shape that isn't really shown. So we've got C. Let's look at this fretboard right here. This guy right here. We've got C. We've got A. Where's G? G's missing. So the G would be where that 7, 2, 5 is, and that would be, essentially within that G box that's not shown there. So that's something to remember. Always be ready to employ cage where you have the situation where you can see all the boxes. Okay, so let's just look at this fretboard right here. It's modally labeled, so we have all those modes there. And it's also done in cage, C, A, G, E, D. The other diagram with the long patterns goes in fourths. And we don't have everything on it. Okay, so I have obviously chose to do something that wasn't in one of the shapes we had. But as you might recall, I said this 7-5, this first inversion fifth, you know, it'd be like a mixolydian or something if you started on that 5. Okay, 7-5 is in the G box there. Okay, so you know the root is root 3-5 right there. 7-5, let's keep following it up. 7-5, 7-5, right? So it's 7-5, 7-5, 7. There it is. It's a D shape. It becomes a D shape. So modally, it's a D shape. Now, in the G box, where's the D shape? It's up here. That's where the fifth is. It's 1, 4, 5. Actually, it's 1, 2 minor, 3 minor, 4 major, 5 major. So that's a mixolydian right there. Of course, it was because we were talking about the key of C anyway. So 7-5 there is actually a D shape. So that's kind of like a modal analysis. It's easier to stick to short pattern modes where you have the chords. And the wonderful thing about like chart 210 actually is that the double shapes, let's say we get the shape of G here and A here. This is part of the long A pattern, right? The long A pattern starts on the fifth, key of C. It goes S3XL and then just play out an S4L till you run out of strings. Okay, that is an A pattern. Okay, there's part of it. I started on the dog's almost clapping, but she's actually scratching her collar. Sounding like a clap. Okay, so within that long A pattern, playing it up here is like, yeah, we can play the A major, the bottom part of the A pattern, and then the fourth and the fifth, we can go to the next pattern up would be the fourth of G is the C and the D pattern. Now, I wanted to mention this. I didn't mention this in the previous lesson. When we go up one pattern for the fourth and the fifth, remember, these are shapes. That's all they are. They're shapes. A shape, D shape, E shape. But now that D shape and E shape is still in the key that we're in. If we look at the next shape up, the next tri-pentatonic box up, and take the C shape and the D shape from there, guess what we get on top? We get A, C, D. What is that? That's an increasing pentatonic scale. And then we get D, E, G. That's an increasing pentatonic scale. In other words, it almost spells cage. C, A, G, E, D. You see, almost, because it's got the doubles, but they're neighbors. You know, they're kind of neighbors. Well, kind of neighbors, yeah. They're not. They're not really neighbors. This E shape here is an E shape 5, is 2, 5, 7 here. This E shape is an E shape 1, is root 5, 3 here. So they're related by fourths. Like I say, they're related by fourths kind of thing, more or less. So they're not the same, but I'm saying that each of these little pentatonics here spells a pentatonic scale, A, C, D, ascending.